Pork is the culinary name for meat that comes from the pig. It's one of the most consumed meats worldwide. Pigs have been raised and slaughtered since 5000 BC for food consumption. Pork has high nutritional value, and due to the development of the meat processing equipment, it can be processed into many things nowadays. Hello viewers, welcome back to yet another video on our channel. Today we will share with you modern pork processing machines that are on another level, so stay tuned and let's get right into it. In today's global marketplace, pork processing companies are often facing low profit margins due to fluctuating supply from farmers on one side and pressure from influential retailers and customers on the other. Pork companies are thus increasingly looking for smarter ways to compensate for diminishing labor supply and increasing costs of raw materials. Likewise, they also search for methods to meet consumer demands for higher quality products and diversity in a timely and cost-effective manner. Thanks to modern technology and its blessings, pork companies are now able to save time and money and simultaneously produce high-quality products for consumers. Let's have a look at how pork meat is processed and what modern machines are used in the process. Animal welfare and handling are issues of the utmost importance in the meat industry. Consumers are conscientious and want products that are produced sustainably and ethically. Over 100 million swine are slaughtered annually in the United States, with the vast majority being market hogs. About 3% of the total number of pigs slaughtered consists of other classes, including roaster pigs, boars, and sows. In large integrated hog farms, a group of pigs will move together through the system from birth to slaughter. That is, a group of sows will farrow at the same time. The piglets will be weaned at the same time, and those pigs will then move through the nursery and finishing units together. This all-in, all-out AIAO approach helps maximize production and limits disease transmission. Each room or building is completely emptied and sanitized between groups of pigs. Therefore, new groups of pigs enter freshly disinfected environments. The facility has a separate room or building for each group of pigs weaned. Historically, sows have been bred by placing a number of sows in a pen with one or more boars. Now boars are more often rotated between sow pens to make sure that all sows are bred while they're in heat. Sows come into estrus 3 to 5 days after their piglets are weaned and are bred at this time. If the sow is not bred, she will return to estrus about 21 days later. After breeding, the sow has a gestation period of about 115 days. 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. The goal of most pork producers is to have on average greater than 2 litters per sow per year. Pigs are fed in the grow finishing facility until they reach market weight. During this stage, pigs are fed specialized diets to maximize growth and achieve a target of around 230 pounds body weight by 175 days of age. Market pigs are then sent to slaughter at about 6 months of age, weighing 200 to 300 pounds of live weight. Wait! Before we move on, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to share your love and support by giving it a big thumbs up and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated with our future uploads. Now, without further ado, let's get back to our video. When pigs arrive at a packaging plant, they are unloaded in a calm manner and allowed to rest for a couple of hours prior to slaughter. This reduces the incidence of meat quality defects, such as pale, soft, and exudative PSE pork. During this time, animals have constant access to water. Pigs are moved in small groups using plastic paddles and sorting boards or curtains. They are then hoisted on a rail, after which they are exsanguinated, usually via the carotid artery and the jugular vein. After stunning and bleeding occurs, the carcasses are put in a hot water bath to loosen hair follicles. After that, the carcasses are put into a machine that tumbles them to remove the hair. This does not cause bruising because the blood has already been removed from the pigs during the bleeding step. After the carcasses are de-haired in the tumbler, they move through a singer. This removes any remaining hair and also gives additional food safety benefits of decreasing surface pathogens. However, in many countries across the world, rendering the pig unconscious is not standard practice, and exsanguination occurs whilst the pigs are fully conscious. The pig is then eviscerated, and the head is usually removed, and the body is cut into 2 halves. The remaining halves are washed to remove any remaining blood, bacteria, or remnants of bone, and then cooled down in order to help with the process of cutting and deboning. The side of pork is broken down into subprimals from the 4 primals: pork shoulder, pork leg, pork loin, and pork belly. Pork leg. The pork leg is a very lean portion of the hog. It can be separated into 3 muscle groups: the inside, outside, and tip. It also contains a hock and a foot. The leg is tender and mostly free from connective tissue, making it ideal for dry heat cookery. Fresh roasts and steaks are processed from the leg as well as cutlets. Most commonly, the pork leg is cured and smoked to produce ham. It can also be dry cured and aged to produce prosciutto. Pork loin. The pork loin is commonly split into 3 sections: the rib, sirloin, and loin center. Alternatively, the pork loin can be split at the end of the tenderloin, labeling the 2 halves as pork loin rib half and pork loin sirloin half. The pork loin is most often merchandised fresh for chops and roasts. The loin is in the most tender primal of the hog and is ideal for dry heat cookery. It can be cured and smoked to make favorites such as back bacon. Pork shoulder. The pork shoulder is very popular for use in sausage making due to the higher fat content. The subprimals pork shoulder blade and pork shoulder picnic are derived from the shoulder along with the pork hock and pork foot. It can be merchandised as fresh roasts and steaks, cured and smoked products, and for deli meats such as capicolo. Pork belly. The pork belly contains the most amount of fat on the hog. It contains pork side ribs and pork breastbone. When the side ribs are removed, the retail name for the belly is side pork. This is the section cured and smoked to make pork side bacon. The side pork can also be rolled and processed to make pancetta. After it is cut into pieces, the meat from the animal is then processed further into edible products. The buttocks are salted and pressed in order to eventually produce ham. The rib cage meat is salted and smoked in order to get bacon. Salt is rubbed thoroughly into each piece of meat and all surfaces are covered. Some formulas also include a lot of black pepper. The bulk of the meat is cut and ground to produce various sausages, which are traditionally wrapped in the intestines of various sizes. The bulk of the fat is cut into small pieces. Some of it is fried to produce cracklings. Lard is made by rendering, heating fragments of fat in a large iron pot over a fire until it is reduced to simmering grease, which congeals when cooled. Lard is then stored in lard tins with tin covers. The typical tins in the US are 5 gallons. In some areas, mainly Eastern and Central Europe, but also Italy and the United Kingdom, fat is salted to produce sallo, lardo, or salt pork. The intestines are stripped by drawing them through a clenched fist. Then they're washed, cut into short pieces, and fried to make chitlins. The various leftovers are put into various forms of head cheese jelly. Most parts of the pig are used in this traditional process. Even parts of the skin that would normally be thrown away are preserved to be cooked with beans. The smokehouse is essential for the preservation and long-term storage of hams, shoulders, bacon sides, and pork bellies. The meat is then hung on racks and hooked in the smokehouse, and later smoked. Fragrant hardwood such as hickory, beech, or cherry is allowed to smolder slowly in a pit below the hanging meat. This gives added flavor and color to the meat, as well as serving to dry cure the pork. So that's all for today's video, and until next time, take care and goodbye.